Hey everybody, what's up squad? It's Suzette Speaks here, and I'm so glad you're catching this stream. I have a very special woman that's joining me. She's an author, a mom, a founder of a nonprofit, and she has an incredible story. So I'm going to get right to it. Please join me in giving a warm Suzette Speaks squad welcome to none other than author Miss Veronique M. Pierre, author of The Strongest Woman in the World Is You. Let me bring her on here, y'all. I'm so excited that she made time and is joining us. How are you?
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for making the time, girl. I was so excited. I'm going to throw her book name up here now. This program will be about women's empowerment. And again, I know the guys are watching, so welcome. If you're watching, drop a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Her book launch was yesterday, so yes. I got her fresh off of her launch event. Oh yes, let's throw it out. Let me let the people see. Let me let the people see. Yes, purple cover, beautiful image. There's so much that goes into writing a book, first and foremost. But I want people to get to know you, get to know your story, and obviously support and learn from everything that you have accomplished. You're such a dynamic woman. You have many sides of you. So let's get started. So tell us first where you're from. I know you represent for South Florida. Tell us how you grew up. Where are you from? What's your city?
I was born and raised in Florida. I'm a Floridian.
Yay, and that's like really rare. So I'm excited when I meet people that are from Florida. Yes.
And I'm a mother of 3 kids. I'm a new published author of The Strongest Woman in the World Is You. I have a nonprofit organization for mental health. It's for teenage girls between the ages of 13 to 18. I graduated from Nova Southeastern University with my master's degree in business administration and minor in marketing. And I'm just a very outgoing person.
Well, I'm excited to have you. There are so many of my usual folks that will be dropping comments. So if you have questions for her, please don't be afraid to let us know you're watching. So I want to go into the crux of the book. So first and foremost, tell us a little bit about your life. How did you grow up? Did you have any challenges that you overcame? Tell us a little bit more about you becoming a woman and growing into your own womanhood.
The book is basically a 21-day guide of how to cope with depression and anxiety. The first seed of, that was planted was when my father passed away when I was a very young age. And then when I was pregnant with my oldest child, my sister was murdered when I was 8 months pregnant. That was the second seed. My sister was murdered 8 months pregnant. And then, shortly after, like a year or 2 later, my mom passed away unexpectedly. And then the final straw was when I went through my divorce with my ex-husband. I was in a toxic, abusive relationship. And, I basically was in a very dark place at that time. I had my son. He was a few months old. I was going through postpartum depression. And I didn't want to be in that place anymore. It took my cousin, who actually was a psychologist, who actually came and visited me. And she realized, she was like, hey, you're not the bubbly Veronique anymore. I'm coming down from out of town and you're not even much coming over to visit me. And she knows I'm a social butterfly. I'm always going to my auntie's house every Sunday after church. And, she realized I didn't come visit her. She was like, hey, this is not her. She always come over here every Sunday. And then when she came over here, she realized, she was like, okay, I'm looking at you. You're not this bubbly girl anymore. You're not traveling. You're not doing the things that you love. So she automatically diagnosed me and said, you have depression. And I didn't realize it. And it took for her to see that. And then she was like, you know what, let's go do something that's going to get you out of this state. And she knows I love to decorate my house. She knows I'm very girly. I love to do my makeup, do my hair. She's like, let's get you out of the house, get dressed up, do your makeup. Let's go to home decor. Let's go get some decorations so we could decorate your house. And at that moment, that's when I realized, you know what, I really am going through depression. I was in denial, but I was like, I really am going through depression, because once I walk in the store, I'm like, I am going through it. And that's when I realized I need professional help, because I need to be healthy for my kids. So I need to start with me first. And then I started doing things that, that made me happy. And it's in the book. It's like, 21-day guide of things that I've done, like different techniques, journaling, traveling, investing into hobbies, investing into my self-care, self-love. And I just, I was like, how many other people that's probably going through this, this could be a little guide that can help them as well. So that's why I created a book to help other people so they can get out of that pit hole as well.
I am, wow. Like I clearly, like so many people watching, I'm moved by your transparency, because there are folks that go through things, and I'm sure you may be one of them. People would never know when they see you on the street, when they see you in church, when they see you around at work or wherever. We have a very, what should I say? A lot of women have very skillful ways of wearing the mask. Was that your case when you were experiencing, you know, death and loss and all of this that you just shared with us? Were you visibly, even though you were internally, like, you know, dying, what was the external like, so that people can, you know, relate to where they may actually be experiencing depression, you know, from loss or from what, you know, whatever circumstances they may have. But we often camouflage it very well. What were you like on a day-to-day basis when you went out to work or when you were mommy? Did you have that mask on?
I did. The number one ways that you can, you know, identify some of the symptoms that someone's going through depression is they isolate themselves. They isolate themselves. They have, you know, eating habits, unhealthy eating habits. They're either not, they're unmotivated. They're not motivated to do things. And that was one of my things. I would literally would get up in the morning, just, you know, take a shower, get ready for work, and pretend like everything was okay. And then when I get off from work, I would just go in my room and just lock myself in a room. And I just didn't want to socialize with anyone. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to socialize with my friends. And it wasn't me. I was a completely different person.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you. I want to say hi to my peoples. Thank you for watching Blind Guy, His Wife, Their Life. Welcome to another day. Thank you, both. I was going to say sir, but it's a duo. Thank you so much. Let us know that you're watching. And if you're watching and catching the replay, let us know, and we'll come back and read your comments. I just want to go back to that, because it is a very easy thing to pass over. But those behaviors, I think people, especially during this COVID time, sometimes confuse what is normal or what is maybe a sign of, you know, depression or something deeper. Because a lot of people right now going in their house and don't do anything all day, and, you know, lock themselves in their room. It is how did you know? Did you only when your cousin told you, or was there a tipping point or some kind of, you know, life-shaking moment? Did your kids come to you and say, Mom, really, I'm gonna need you to do better? Like, was there somebody or something that triggered you seeing yourself, or did it take that outside person seeing what was happening in your life?
It took my cousin, and then it took I had a meltdown at work when I was going through my divorce. And
Can I get in that? What does that mean? No, that we, you know, Black folks, we got we're blessed and highly favored. Veronique sure doesn't look like the video description. God put all. I'm like, she's a mom. She's been through this. She has written a book, fought depression, all of this. So they're like, wait, hold on, who is this? Because we as women definitely, like, you know, we could put it together. We will look like $1,000,000 and be about to die. So so you said cuz kind of like was the main impetus in terms of you figuring this out.
Yes, and then it took my coworker. I was at work, and I literally just started.
Yes.
Oh, me? Or
yes. Sorry. I was like, yes. There was a part of the story I didn't want to miss. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It was me. I was at work, and I was literally like at my desk, and I was in my office crying, like literally crying. And my coworker walked in, and she's like, "You're no way able to drive and pick up your son from school." She's like, "You're just about to have." She's like, "You're not healthy." And to me, I'm like, "Okay, it's okay. I'm just crying. You know, I'm having a breakdown. I'm just crying. It's okay." But the way that you know that you're not okay is because you are literally down. It's like you're down, like not just for a moment. You're down for like days. You're down for months. You're down for a long period of time. And it's like you just don't want to do anything. You feel like there's just a big weight over your shoulder, and you're constantly stressed out. You're constantly worried. You constantly feel like you're like stagnant. You're like you're not moving forward. And I think those are one of the things. I don't know if this is something for everyone else, but I think that's one of the things for me that, you know, I can say that was the depression state. And, you know, I want to also put out there, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. But I am a certified mental health advocate. I do have my certification, and also speaking from experience. And I know, like, those are some of the things that I went through. I was in a dark place. I was just not motivated to do anything. I wasn't motivated to eat. I wasn't motivated to hang out with anyone. I wasn't motivated to go anywhere. And I'm usually like a typical person that is social. I'm always wanna, if not every day, but I'm not an everyday hangout person, but at least once or twice a month, I want to spend time with people. I want to interact with people, engage with people. And if I'm going months without interacting with people, engage with people, then that's, to me, is a sign, okay, what's up? You're going 3 months, you're going 6 months without talking to someone. You're going 6 months without, going outside. You're not doing your makeup when you go outside anymore. You're not doing your hair. Like, you're not taking care of yourself. Like, what's going on? So those are typical signs that, something's going on, because they're changing their habits.
Absolutely. I'm here with author Miss Veronique Pierre. She has a new book, The Strongest Woman in the World Is You. And we're talking about it today. We're talking about her personal journey. And we're also talking about what we can learn from it. And I'm grateful to have women like you who speak on what they've been through. So let me ask, what period of time you had all this tragedy happening in your life, and then your behavior was taking a very major change? Over what period of time can you tell us that did this occur? Was this over like a year, 2 years? What was the span of when you were going through this very dark period with that dark cloud over you? What was that like? How many years or months were we talking about?
I would say with about 4 years. It was a very long time.
It's a very long time.
Yes, it was about 3-4 years. It was right after I had my son. And, right after my son, I was, going through a divorce as well with my ex-husband. I was in a very toxic relationship, and it took me when I had my son, which I should have, got out a long time ago, but I wanted to stay in it for the kids. And, I wanted to, not, separate it from my ex-husband because of the kids. And then my kids were looking at me like, Mommy, what are you doing? Like, you're not happy. Kids sense that. Like, you're not happy. You're miserable. Like, why you're staying in the relationship for us? Because you're not happy. And, to me, I'm thinking, oh, I'm doing the right thing as a Christian, because, I'm doing the right thing. I'm staying with my ex-husband, I'm trying to raise the kids together. But, my emotions, my feelings was also affecting them, because when I'm depressed, they're depressed. They feed off of my energy. So they're like, you're not happy. And then to me, I'm thinking, okay, I'm masking everything. I'm putting on a smile of face. I'm, still trying to be mommy. But they're like, we could sense that you're not happy. So what are you doing? Why are you doing this for us? Like, my oldest child, she must said it to, she's like, Mommy, you're doing this for us. And I was like, I didn't say anything to her. I was like, oh my goodness. And I just looked, and I like, wow, like, that's when it clicked. And I was like, okay, I am doing this for you guys. And I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing, but I'm not. And a lot of times parents think that, but, even I tried counseling. I tried, marriage counseling. I tried all types of counseling, and it didn't work. And I was like, you know what? It's time for me to leave. And then once, transitioning from when you're, been with someone for 23 years, you lose a part of yourself because you've been with this person literally your entire life. So it's like transition from someone that you've been with your entire life, and then transition from being married to a single mother. It's like you lose your whole identity. And that while you losing your identity, and then you just had a baby, is like all of those motions, all of those changes, it hits you. And then it's like, okay, how I'm going to figure out who I am again, how I'm going to figure out what's going to make me happy again, what's going to make me whole again, what's going to make me healthy again. And then I started doing the work. I started, the first thing I did was get closer to God. I said, I need to get closer to God. I need to get back into church. I got back into church. I started doing things in the church. I started praying more. I created a prayer closet. I started praying in my prayer closet. I started reading the Bible, doing devotion. And then I was like, what's the next step I need to do? The next step, I need to hire a professional that's licensed in this field, that knows what's going on. So therefore, they'll be able to tell me, we need to dig deep. What is the root cause of this? And then that professional was able to point out, okay, this is the reason why you feel this way. This is the reasons why you're making the decisions that you're making. And then once I figure out what was the root cause, then I need to figure out what are my triggers. Because once you figure out your triggers, then you know, okay, these are my triggers. Okay, now I identify them, how I'm going to resolve them, how I'm going to know if the next time they approach me, how I'm going to handle the situation next time. So it is a process, you know.
There's so much there. I'm gonna stop you right there because I'm like,
I'm
digesting. No, you're doing great. Pull your laptop down just a tad bit so we can see a little, so we can see a little bit more of you. I'm here with author Veronique Veronique M. Pierre. You can look up her book, The Strongest Woman in the World Is You. I can see why you wrote this, sis, because as I'm listening, there are so many nuggets and so many pieces of the conversation that I think there are people that will relate to, get a little light bulb from, and maybe do some self-assessing. That's what I'm really about. The self-discovery, self-inventory, self-awareness piece.
Amen.
So many of us, I personally, let me not talk about y'all, me personally, I have been in seasons where I'm floating and I'm not really understanding why I'm doing what I'm doing or really making an intentional or conscious decision. And by not making that conscious decision, I'm still making a decision and I'm still having the effects of that decision. So making sure to understand why we're doing what we're doing. You've said so much. I'm going back a little bit. I'm going to backtrack to where you talked about the identity piece. Many people identify with their marriage or as a married person. I think especially in society, particularly among our communities of color, where there's a religious overlay, there's a very heavy weight placed on staying married. Yes. And I heard, I don't know where I heard it, I'm not going to take credit for it, where there was a commentary I was listening to that said, you know, divorce shouldn't be as easy as it is. And another woman said, well, marriage shouldn't be as easy as it is. And I was like, oh, that part, because we mature at different rates. Some of us marry very early. I don't think anything's wrong with that. Sometimes it very much works out. Other times, you know, people are going in different directions within the first few years. Did you know early on that your ex-husband wasn't going to be the right fit or had tendencies that were abusive or toxic? Did you see that prior to, or were you too young to see it? Or what was that experience like once you like, oh, wow, this man is doing what he's doing and I'm gonna have to deal with this? Like, what was that like, that awareness like?
Because he actually, in the beginning, because we were kids, I knew we were like 17. I was 17.
Babies.
Yeah, we were babies.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, once my mother passed away, he did like a 360. He basically, you know, stepped up to the plate. You know, he moved into my mother's house and he decided to, you know, be a provider, protector. He did a whole 360. He started going to church with me. And then it just, like literally once I got pregnant with my son, that's when things started going down the hill again. That's when, you know, the old habits started to come back. And then that's when I was like, okay. And that's when he also admitted he wasn't a believer. And that also broke my heart as well. And then, you know, he was abusive. He was an alcoholic. He was a cheater. And, you know, I was like,
he just changed on you. He just was like, sweet angel. And then all of a sudden, that happens. Yeah. A lot of people don't be, well, she should have known, or there should have been a warning. Sometimes there's not. I've seen it in other friends' relationships as well. They be fooling us, bro. There's a lot of fakers out there trying to get good people. So, wow. So that must have been like a heartache and just like oh my God, like just shock of who is this person in my bed? Like,
it was, because I was like, oh my goodness, because I'm like, do I still keep praying? Because I'm praying. I'm, you know, yes, so it's like, marriage. I'm praying. Yeah, I'm praying, and then I would have bruises on my arms and my legs, and I would just, you know, cover them up and go to work like nothing happened. I would, you know, just act like nothing happened, and then I was like, you know, it's either I'm going to be either 6 feet under the ground or I'm going to be in prison. So which one? Is like, and I'm like, God, which one it is? Because how much longer can I stay in this marriage with this guy? And my kids, you know, my daughters are seeing this. And my daughter's like, what are you doing? Like, and that's like, once I had my son, I was like, I don't want my son to go through this. I don't want my son to be, you know,
like this person.
Seeing this. Seeing this and thinking that it's okay. You know, I wish I would have made that decision earlier, but I'm like, I don't want my son to see this. And then that's when I was like, you know what? I want better for my kids. Yeah. I want, you know, my kids to see a healthy relationship. I want my kids to see mommy and daddy happy. You know, I want my kids to, you know, grow up in a Christian home. And that's when I made that decision. Okay, the first step is to get out of this marriage. The second step is to, you know, try to take care of myself and take care of my kids. And I thought it was easy.
How
It
brave of
wasn't
you.
easy.
I think of it in like there, because there's so many dimensions to what you said, and we're going to pick apart some of it. Let us know you're watching if you have any questions. And I want you to support this wonderful author. She has a compelling story, Miss Veronique Pierre, the strongest woman you know is you. And as I'm listening to her story, and I'm so glad and that you're so brave to have written about it, because a lot of people will live this experience and not want to share it and be very, very quiet about it. And some, you know, shame may be attached to it, or guilt may be attached to it. And a lot of that keeps us in bondage. So it's a beautiful example of what you have done here, which is to use your story to inspire, encourage, and educate others, because the state of the United States, when it comes to domestic violence, it's still very prevalent and it's very real. And it doesn't matter what socioeconomic status you have. There are women experiencing this from the very most economically challenged to the high upper class, if you will, women of our society. They suffer in silence. So I'm so glad that your story, as compelling as it is, can shine a light for other women who are also trying to do it for the kids and keep, you know, what is a very harmful, spiritually, emotionally, physically harmful situation together for I don't know. I'm not going to say just to keep up with the Joneses, because I think the religious element makes it something that we really feel like we got to fight for, even when we have the grace of God to kind of not be punished, if you will, or forgiven. It might be a better way. I'm not going to preach, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's a grace that God allows that we sometimes feel that we may be punished for, because God told us to marry one time and that's it. So how did you reconcile that on your religious side? Because I know there are a lot of people that are very firm, whether they're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, and even non-believers, who have this kind of very deep faith and don't want to disappoint God. How did you reconcile that?
And I think that's the same thing with me. And I think that's also was another thing that was added to my depression, because, you know, I wouldn't consider myself religious, but I was a believer.
Yeah.
And, you know, people that were in the church as well would throw that. I don't remember the Bible verse, like say it's a sin to divorce from your spouse and you can't remarry. And they would always throw that at me, like you have to stay, you have to stay, you have to stay. And
why did we saying that?
And I was like, literally, like, if I stay in this, I'm going to
the wrong people. And they on some, and they really stayed in the marriges for a long time because of the religious folk.
Yes.
And thank you, WT Funk is this great. That's, and thanks for having these. We appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. But as you're saying, those are the ones that literally make this even more burdensome, and you feel you helpless.
Yes.
You feel like I'm going to let down God. God's going to put me in hell. I'm never going to be. Hello, we've all sinned and fallen short. Remember that part?
Yes, and you don't know where to run to, because if you're like, okay, if I'm trying to exit this and you're telling me that if you exit this, this is what's going to happen, you're going to hell. It's like, okay, like, Lord, do you really want me to die this way? Like, Lord, do you really want me to live this way? So it took a lot.
Remember the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to prosper you, right? Give you an expected end, right?
Yes.
So I don't understand how people get this. And again, that's why, you know, we have freedom of religion, and there are so many denominations because we have freedom of interpretation. So, but there are people that I think are doing a disservice to their flock. But I'm gonna let you go. I'm sorry. It just hurts me because I've seen and heard that same narrative from women in various experiences who were in a wrong relationship, a wrong marriage. Oh my God, marriage can't be wrong. We're marrying the wrong people. It happens. Yes. And God gives us the grace to say, oops, no, not having it. So yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. So anyway, so as you prayed about it, did you seek outside of your faith community support, or how did that come full circle?
I spoke with my pastor's wife, and then I spoke with her, and she's like, I grew up in the church. I've been in the church since like 3rd grade, and she watched me grow up. She watched my entire relationship, And she know I was struggling. They married us. They did counseling, marriage counseling with us and everything. And she's like, you know what? She's like, if you were to leave this marriage, God will be okay with it. And she's like, you know what? Because there's no way God would be happy with you being suffering in this marriage. And once she said that to me, to hear that from the pastor's wife, that kind of removes some of the weight off. I'm getting goosebumps right now. That kind of
listen, somebody needs to hear it right now.
Yes.
Through you from that first lady, because
yes.
I'm just thinking about so much. And I'm going to add a little piece here, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I have a lot of people, hey, thank you for this comment. As soon as the good stuff starts, the phone starts ringing. You are appreciated, Suzette, and your story is inspiring and necessary, Verity. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, we're talking to author Veronique Pierre, author of The Strongest Woman in the World Is You, her brand new book. She just had her book launch yesterday here in South Florida. Wanted to get her fresh off of that into, you know, the conversation here. And she's been just as transparent as anyone could ask for as an author. It makes me really want to read your book and figure out, you know, myself, even though I haven't lived exactly the same route, you know, gone the same journey, but we will encounter these type of challenges. All of us will have challenges. So it's a very good thing to know. So pastor's wife spoke a word. It was like, whoo, I can do it. And how long were you married? Can I ask?
We were married for 11 years, but we were together for 23 years.
Jesus. Let me just say this. I was going to add a cultural overlay, and I hope I don't get like hate mail for it, but especially my friends who are of Haitian descent, and I have a lot of friends that are of Haitian descent, and you are of Haitian descent.
Yes.
Y'all marry early. I'm just going to put it like that. I don't know if there's pressure from the church alone or what.
Pressure from the family members.
They be married early. I'd be like, let the people live a little bit. Let the folks live. I mean, early. And so as people become who they are and actually mature and evolve, it's like, woo, who is this? Or sometimes it does work. But it is always very interesting to me because I'd be like, dang, y'all got married early. But I'm sure other cultures have that. It's not just Haitian culture. And I think it's also with the religious framework. They push it a lot. So don't you sin. You better get there. Lord help us all. All right, I'm going to pivot a little bit. Thank you for watching. WT Funk says, says, it's a safe space. Speaking words in the air is therapy. Let's talk about therapy. And I don't want to give people all your book now. I want to get into some of the steps because people need healing. But talk about the role therapy played. What you said, it helped you identify triggers, and you said it helped you kind of, you know, see more clearly, you know, the situation and how you can get out of it. Talk about, okay, I was in this toxic relationship. I have a little breakdown at work. I start, because you know, Black people, we really got when we outwardly express that heartache and pain, you know, it has gotten intolerable. And we wouldn't choose to do that, especially in public. We'd be like, what? So you have this moment, you're crying uncontrollably, you're at work, your friend girl's like, boo, let's step away from the desk. Come on back. And let's figure this out. So what role, how quickly did you go to therapy? And then what role did therapy play for you in your healing?
I do want to mention that I do have a t-shirt line also says, Jesus plus therapy. It's basically,
I love it already. Jesus plus therapy. Hello. Welcome. K24 Nip. Thank you so much for tuning in. So you were saying you have a line, a clothing line.
Yes. Nice. Jesus plus therapy. And it's basically, Jesus is the physician and therapy is the recovery process. So once you go to me, you would have to go to the ultimate healer, which is Jesus Christ. Build that relationship with Christ. Once you build that relationship with Christ, therapy is like the recovery process, where you have, like, say if you have a scar or you broke your leg and now you have to learn how to walk again. Therapy is that process to help you get up off the ground and be able to walk again. So to me, it was that recovery process where, you know, now I'm trying to heal. I'm trying to be able to walk again. I now have the nurses. I have the nurse assistants that's holding my arm. That's, you know, cheering me. I have the cheerleaders that's cheering me on, saying, okay, let's go. that's putting ointment on my cuts. Sorry, my son is you want to say hi?
Just the mommy side. I'll let him come on. Hey there. Oh, he's like, so
Hey.
how you doing?
Okay.
Okay.
Nice to see you. Happy
I have
Sunday.
a special secret for you.
Okay.
Uh-oh. This is the Superwoman. We do everything around here. I know the feeling. But as you were saying, so yes, you get, I think people leave out that part where you have to have help sometimes. We can't always see, and our heart can't always heal without help. Whether that's the prayer group, I see you too, whether that's the prayer group or the therapist, but you can't pray it away sometimes. Sometimes the praying is the opening of what must take place with other, professional trained individuals, however, religious or non-religious they come, whatever form they come in. You got to get help, because if you could see it, you would have done better already, but we couldn't. So we need help to unpack. I think sometimes we let that stuff, fester, and we just gonna pray. Sis, I hear you. Jesus said, you're not the only one. I have opened your eyes to see, and now put money in your pocket to pay for somebody to help you to unload on. And it can't always be your homegirls, and it can't always be your new man or whoever it is, or your significant other. But we have to really take time to say, oh my gosh, it's time to deal with the truth. And we can't always face that alone. We can't always face that alone. Queen of the South says, hey, Suzette and Veronique, I love authors. Just coming through with a like. I'm listening. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you being here. Queen of the South says, yes, prayer is just the beginning most times. Sometimes it's the end. It's rarely the only step. That's a word.
That's the word right there. It's not the only step.
That's the word. So I really want to, I see you have mommy duties. I know we have a few more minutes with you. I want to get into the book just to get a taste, because I want the folks to support. I want people to check you out. The name of the book again is The Strongest Woman in the World Is You, fresh off the presses. And I am just grateful, because no matter who you are, I love the internet, because things reach people we don't even know it's going to reach. And it's going to help people to become better and recognize within themselves when they need to change, when they need to grow, how they can grow, all that good stuff. So when did the book start? When did the process of writing the book start for you?
The process started at the beginning of the year. It took about five to 6 months to complete.
In COVID, 2021 or 2020?
2021.
Okay, very nice. So journaling, or just writing, or you had already in your mind what I did to heal, so I'm going to just put it on paper. What was it like for you?
I already had in my mind what I needed to do. And I just basically just started writing because I already did the process.
You said, I'm going to be in this camera. I'll go wide. I'll go wide. It's a family affair. Why not? Let's go. You go listen to mommy. Hey, there you are. Listen, this is called being in real life. What's up? What's up? So I'm going to give her a few more minutes, if you don't mind. How old is your son? What's his name?
What's your name?
Wilson.
How old are you?
Hi, Wilson.
6.
Oh, big boy. Wilson is no wonder. He's 6 years old. He's like, yes, mommy, I'm ready for you now. So we'll make this brief. But as far as the writing process, how was that? Because there are so many people watching that are thinking about wanting to write books. What was that like for you?
The writing process, I have a publisher, and she was able to help me with the writing process. She basically gave me like 5 phases. Phase 1, you would do 1 step. Phase 2, you do another step, and phase 3. So having that outline and having someone that's actually on my back and telling me what I need to do.
Deadline.
Accountability. Accountability. It made it a lot easier, because I already knew what I was going to put down. And
baby, like, I'm going to be in this interview. So she helped you kind of formulate, where you were going to go next, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So, and it's a 21-day guide, basically, to give you techniques. And, it also have, other things that you can do, hobbies that you can do, investing into yourself, to help you deal with, if you're dealing with depression, or if you're dealing with anxiety. You can actually go on Amazon to purchase the book. And that's it.
I'm so
I don't have long, because he's gonna turn up in a minute.
I see you on your comments for real now. He's like, it's time to go. I'm congratulating you on this wonderful project. I'm gonna let you go because I see he's like, I'm ready. I'm ready for you now. We are grateful that you took time on your family day to come talk with us, share your personal story. There's so much more, guys. I want to just to introduce and allow you to meet this phenomenal woman. We didn't even get into your nonprofit, what you do with that. I will drop a link in the description so people can find you, find the book, find the nonprofit, and support. I'm grateful for you being here, my love.
Thank you.
And I appreciate
Thank you for having me.
We'll do it again. We'll probably do it a little bit longer, but we'll set up another time. And I want to thank her and little Wilson. Thank you for being here, Wilson. See you, Mr. 6-year-old and big and handsome. I want to thank Veronique Pierre being here today, and I appreciate. She's like, I'm gonna put you on mute. All right, my love, I'll let you go. Have a good one. I'll see you very soon. And thank you. I'm gonna throw up her book title one more time. Author Veronique Pierre, The Strongest Woman I Know. Thank you, my darlings. I appreciate all of you guys for watching. Queen of South Summer, he's a cutie. Yeah, he is. There is so much there. I really enjoyed watching, like listening to her. She has more information in her book, obviously a 21-day guide. I wanted to give her roses. It's a big deal to both get out of a very abusive situation, dealing with death of her mom, dealing with death of her sister, all those things that, you know, sometimes it just becomes overwhelming. Her depression, all of the things that she talked about. It's a very compelling story. I'm gonna make more time for her to come on and get into the nonprofit she has as well. But I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Please do like, please do share, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button. And welcome to all of my new community members. I've seen a lot of subscriptions to the YouTube channel, so I appreciate you. I appreciate you being a part of the squad, and I'll see you guys real soon. All right.